got him.
What's up, Jamison Redding here with the Road Trip Angler, and I wanted to share with you what I found success on while we were fishing those clear spring-fed rivers in Florida for Suwannee bass.
Yeah.
Woo, got that dink. Suwannees are not as big as other black bass species. I mean, they're super aggressive, and we were actually able to sight fish some of these fish. And I found success on a few different baits, and I also caught a few largemouth, and there are monster largemouth in this area. So I did have some baits tied on, so if I came across some of those bigger fish, I would have the opportunity to catch them. However, most of the fish that I caught came on one bait, and I used so many of them that I only have one left, and that is the one that's tied onto my rod. That bait was the Z-Man TRD Bugs. And this one is actually missing a couple of its little tentacles that come off of it because I had so many fish eat it that eventually it just got wore down. Now, Chris Funk actually had this color in his bag because I only had one bait left, and the bait that I had was in the hot snakes color, and I actually ran out of those pretty quick because I broke off on a tree stump or something while I was fishing in the water.
Oh, yep.
When he gave me the color that he was finding success on, it was called Canada Crawl or Canadian Crawl. So it's kind of a dark green color with some red flake in it and some black flake in it, and it's a very natural looking presentation. I rigged that on the TRD Bullets. Basically, that is a weedless setup. Gives you a little bit of weight forward and a little bit of belly weight as well, so you can get that hook tucked in and have that really nice weedless presentation, which is key in this water because there is a ton of grass and a ton of rice growing in there that you can get snagged and fouled up on. I rigged that bait with 12-pound gold label fluorocarbon leader and threw it on 20-pound high-vis Seaguar Smackdown. I threw that on a Rain Shadow Judge. This is their crankbait blank. It's 7 feet, medium with a moderate fast action. Got one for you. And the spinning reel that I used was the Shimano Vantford in the 2000 series, so it's a smaller reel. Again, these are not huge fish. Although we caught trophy size Suwannee bass out there, this setup was perfect for being able to sight cast those fish, feel the bite, and get that hook set. However, I did catch a few fish on top, and the fish that I caught on top came on the billy goats, which is another Z-Man bait. And the cool thing about this bait is you can rig it completely weightless and reel it on the surface as a topwater, and it's going to have that kicking action and kind of imitate a frog or a bait fish skipping along the surface. I actually rigged this on the Pro Bullets, which is a bigger version of that TRD Bullets, and this was a 1/8 ounce setup, and that allowed me to either reel it kind of slower and get it subsurface or raise that rod tip and bring it across the surface of that grass. And I find that this bullet setup really keeps it from getting tangled in that grass when I want to reel it, and I was able to catch a few fish on this, both Suwannees and a couple of small largemouth. I was throwing that on the Eternity series, which is an RX10 blank from Rain Shadow, medium with a fast action. That way I could really get that hook set and bring that hook and penetrate when they took that bait down and pull them out of that grass and those weeds very quickly. I was using an older Okuma reel that I have here. This is a Helios, but it has an 8-to-1 ratio again, so that when they took that bait down, I was able to get them out of that grass very quickly where I could fight them in open water. Except for that one. The other bait that I found success on was a jackhammer. You guys know I love throwing a jackhammer, and on this particular trip I chose to use the green pumpkin shad, so it's got a little bit of that green pumpkin color and some white with some shimmer to it. It matches up almost perfect with the deal color, so I used a razor shad from Z-Man as well in the deal, which has that kind of iridescent belly and the green pumpkin top that really matches this bait well. And typically this would have a black blade or a green, dark green with black specks in it blade, but I had knocked most of the paint off of this. And I did get some reaction strikes on this from both largemouth and the Suwannee bass, and it helped me kind of dial in where they were. We were mostly casting those sand pockets, so as we looked in that clear water, we could see those kind of open sand pockets between the grass, and bringing this moving bait across there or throwing that little TRD Bugs into those sand pockets is where we found the majority of our baits. I was throwing that jackhammer on the Judge again. It's one of my favorite blanks from Rain Shadow, but the Judge in a 7-foot medium heavy setup, which is a moderate fast action. I had 30-pound test Seaguar Smackdown Braid, and I paired that up with 20-pound gold label Seaguar Flurocarbon leader. So hopefully that helps you out if you ever go target those Suwannee bass in those clear, spring-fed rivers. Be sure to subscribe for more tips, and as always, thanks for watching. Road Trip Angler would like to thank our global partners for helping support the mission to get people outside and on the water.